Hello everybody, this is Wootmaster Zorks, and I am here to do my media thread where I talk about all the stuff that I play and watch and all that good stuff. And for my first episode, I'm going to be talking about Yooka-Replaylee because I beat that the other day, and I've been dragging my feet on doing this because that's how I be. I drag my feet when I have an idea that I want to do, but it seems like a lot of work, like getting online and talking about something is. So, to start off, presentation stuff, because that's the stuff I can't really comment on super well. So, with the game, the story is largely the same as the original Yooka-Laylee, where Cavilby is here to try and steal the one book which can rewrite reality, and Yooka-Laylee had just stumbled on where it was being kept, and then took it back to their home in Shipwreck Creek. And then they followed it into the Ivory Towers after using it to get all their moves from the original game. And then you just go on the adventure and interact with a bunch of goofy characters while you look around for all the pages that you need to open the pagey doors that Cattleby and his assistant Dr. Quack have made to block your progress. Because they're thinking, oh, haha, we'll trick the heroes into collecting all the collectibles that we need. Ha ha ha, we're traditional cartoony villains. And it's all fun, because, like, there's just a bunch of wacky, goofy jokes and, wisecracks and all that stuff. It's classic Rare humor. And the game looks really nice, and, all the music in the game is nice. You got like Grant Kirkhope and David Wise doing the music here. It's good. It's good. I like it. And then, to talk about the thing that I can most comment on, the gameplay, because this game really does feel better than the original Yooka-Laylee. Like people have been saying, like if you've played them both for comparison, it's a very, night and day uh, comparison. To start with, you have all of your moves from the original game at the start, like I said, and they all flow really nice into each other because your roll doesn't take energy anymore, and you can like roll into really quickly into your twirl attack. You can use your high jump and then glide and then do an attack. Like you can just or then you can like work in a ground pound somewhere in there if you need to. It's like it just feels really good to play. And like the original felt good to play too, but it just kind of felt a little unpolished compared to, something like Banjo-Kazooie. Now, I think that, Yooka-Laylee in some respects does things better or at least more interesting than Yuka Banjo-Kazooie, like having the worlds be ones where you can expand them. Like I thought that was a neat idea. Like ultimately, I think that's better in Replayly without that because then you just have the world at the start and you don't have to be like, okay, is this new? Could I go here before? Is this just something that was not in the original version of the world? Like, is ultimately a better thing that the game doesn't do that anymore, but I always thought it was a neat idea at least. And then, there's the fact that every world has gone from 50 pages or 25 pages to 50 pages, and there's also all these, things to do between areas that you can find pages, like, you'll find enemies with money, or you'll find, things that you can like break to find money, and there's also like all the quills. They really do use they use the world better, like filling it with more objectives that you can complete and things to find. And it feels way better to explore these worlds because there's just more things to do between areas. And the challenges that you have to do in the game are a lot more, if not interesting, handled better than the original. Like, For one example, there's the Rextro and Kartos minigames that the original had, where you would play these arcade type mini games with Rextro, and they weren't, in my opinion, they weren't bad, but none of them were also that interesting either. But now you have this cute little like puzzle platformer kind of thing where you're taking Rextro through these low poly areas, and Rextro has this cute little low poly design, and you have just one move. You extend your neck to bite things, and you can just, you can interact with enemies, you can break objects to get through the levels, and your ultimate goal is to find the three medals that you can get in the level to, get 3 pages in return. And similarly, Kartos' minigames are improved, I would say. In some respects, I thought that, like, the original giving you excess amounts of gems to find, and you just had to hit a certain threshold was nice. But in Replaylee, now there's a set amount of gems that you can collect, and your ultimate goal is to collect all of them. And I think it's really well designed and really interesting because you have to like memorize the levels, and in one level's case, you have to like you have to find the right path in addition to memorizing what you have to do with the levels. So it's, a bit more involved and a bit more interesting, I would say. So, I think that they improved the side games that you play. Like, nothing really changed with the transformations that you get from the character Dr. Puzz. You just find the molecule and then you transform into whatever that world's transformation is. I wouldn't say that the transformations here are all that much better than Banjo's, except for in like the case of the helicopter and kind of the snowplow, but really it's just the helicopter that I would say. Oh no, there is also the boat. Like the last two transformations I think are way better because the first three are kind of limited in what they can do. Like the uh the the snowplow that I just mentioned, you know, it's still a bit better control because you can just go around the level, but all you can do is like break some piles of snow that you have in the world. But ultimately, like, there's a lot more to do, and like I said, your moves flow way better into each other, and the game just feels way better because it also, does away with some of the things that held back the original. Like your roll doesn't have, it doesn't take part of your energy meter now. You just can roll infinitely, like with the talent tribe. So it's just your other moves that are taking your energy. And I think what really works with this game is the fact that, you know, it also takes inspiration from some other modern games and uses that to improve the Banjo-Kazooie kind of formula. Like now you can now you use the quills to instead buy the upgrades for the world, so you can use the well, not the upgrades for the world. You can use them to get upgrades for yourself, like the health extensions and the stamina extensions that you get in every world, instead of being bespoke collectibles, are now just something that you go to Trouser collect. And in addition to that, there's also just the fact that the game now has cosmetics, and just like with Yooka-Laylee and Impossible Lair, there's also tonics that you can use to augment how the game plays. Like you can include fall damage, you can make it to where enemies take more hits, less hits, you can make it to where you have extra stamina if you need it, or you can double your health meter. Like you can make the game more accessible for yourself, or you can make it more challenging for yourself. And the cosmetics are just fun, and because like you can dress up as Shovel Knight, you can dress up in a nice suit For the casino level, uh, just give yourself underwear. You can put Layla's head in bread. You can just make yourself look as goofy or as cool as you want, because that's how they did the Impossible Lair, and they took elements from that game, not just stuff like the stamina meter being like you know any modern day games stamina meter like Breath of the Wild, because like it's a ring. It just looks like Breath of the Wild stamina meter. While the health is not represented by butterflies anymore, but it's just like a ring of health, kind of like what you would see in a 3D Mario game. But ultimately, or like how the game is littered with all these collectibles to find all over the place. Again, like something like Mario Odyssey or even Donkey Kong Bonanza. But I think that ultimately that does help kind of set this game out on its own identity, funny enough, because it's like it has the elements of, modern 3D platformers, but it also, takes the Banjo-Kazooie style that the original Yooka-Laylee was shooting for, and it meshes them perfectly, in my opinion. It's a really nice game, plays really well. It's just really fun. It's not super long or super hard to find all of the collectibles, because you can also find the on the new map that the game has, which the original Yooka-Laylee didn't. You can find Mark, which is a bookmark character. Haha, rare humor. I do really like that. And you can use him to fast travel to areas to get stuff easier, or you can also have him take some of the new coin currency and pay to see where the collectibles that you're missing are. And then speaking of coins, there's coins in the game now, and they are used really well, like breadcrumb you along to where you need to go. They, like in the first world, there's this trench, this moat around like the whole level, and at one point there's this divot off to the side where you find the Rextra coin, and then when you're leaving, you see the coin enemy, or the piggy bank enemy, Coinelius, and you interact with him, and then the coin trail leads you up the bricks that act as a shortcut out of the trench, so you can get right back to Rextro. It's really well designed, and that kind of stuff just is all throughout the game. The game really does a great job of breadcrumbing you along and just leading you to where you would logically need to go to find quills or pages or the new pagey pieces. And just in general, it's real. Again, I just can't say enough how I think that this is way better designed than the original, in terms of leading you along to where you need to go to help you find stuff, and just being able to help players who might be struggling with finding stuff, because we all have that problem with 3D platformers every every so often, because it's like you'll be missing those last couple gems in Spyro, or you don't know where that last box is in Crash Bandicoot, and in general, it's just really well designed. And like, yeah, it's just a really solid 3D platformer, and I think that this game is on par with Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. And I might even go as far as say it's on par with like Nintendo's 3D platformers, because everyone knows Nintendo are the kings of 3D platformers. And when you get some old Rare staff working on a new 3D platformer, like the ones that they made in Nintendo's golden era of the N64, or well, Rare's golden era in the N64 days, you know, and you have it with all this polish and all these nice blends of modern and classic game design. It's just really good. And then one other thought that I forgot about till just now, they did improve the flight ability, and they also, smartly made it to where it was a slurp state thing where you use Yuka's ability to eat something, and then it'll either give him the property like fire resistance or fire breath. Use that for being able to fly now, which I think is a smart decision. But that ultimately leads to a thing where like the original still has its charm because like you can play the original where you can like get the minimum amount of stuff you need to get to world to world to world, so you can get the flight ability, and then you can just break the game that way in the original. Whereas this one is a lot more smartly designed around using the flight ability without needing to like, you know, without being able to just break every challenge over your knee. But it does also kind of come at the cost of like the very last ability that you got in the original, which was like the sonar shield, where you're in the ball rolling around and you're immune to all damage. It really kind of makes it to where that ability is just kind of stuck to the very end of the game and you only use it very situationally, whereas the flight ability still gets frequent use throughout the whole game. So, in that respect, the use of all the moves, all, being given to you all at once, it does kind of, bring that down a little bit, but that's like a super niche complaint that I could give. Like, I can't really think of anything, complaints wise. Speaking of complaints, like, yeah, the Switch 2 version runs only at 30 FPS, but they said, hey, we're gonna try and see if we can get 60 FPS. And also, I just never really noticed. Like, you could tell me it was 60 FPS and I would believe you, like, an idiot. I would just believe you like an idiot. And then there's just, like, yeah, I just can't really think of anything where I was like, oh, this is a problem with the game. Not that there aren't problems with the game, I was just playing the game, finding all the pages, and I made it to the end, and you know, that's that. So yeah, Yooka-Replaylee, I thought it was a really good game, and I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward to whatever they do next. I just hope that it's out, sooner than like the gap of time between Impossible Lair and Replaylee, and I'd be fine with whatever direction they take the next game because like Impossible Lair was great. So if they did another Impossible Lair style DKC style game, that would be awesome. And if they did another Banjo style Yooka-Laylee 2, Tukulele, like that'd also be great. So yeah, Yooka-Replaylee gets a big ol' thumbs up for me, especially if you've played the original, because like if you've played the original, you have a like founders discount you can, get like you can get a good discount on Replayly if you have the original purchased. It's gotta be like on the same system, but hey, I don't see why you wouldn't be buying the remake on the same kind of system because everyone, you know, sticks with like one series across the same console if they can help it. I would assume, anyways. But, I'm rambling at this point. That is the first episode of my Mia Threadcast, and I will see you later. And, maybe I'll actually script something out for the next time or take notes or something instead of just rambling. Or maybe you're stuck with me rambling because, yeah, I just want to be a jerk to you like that. Later.